Louisiana and our coastal communities have experienced a series of intensive disasters, both man-made and natural, since Katrina made landfall on August 29, 2005. Our community foundation is a disaster grant-making expert. Because of our experience, we became a peer to other community foundations experiencing disasters. New Jersey when Sandy hit, Houston for Harvey, and Puerto Rico for Irma and Maria.
The challenges before us are greater than most of us can handle alone. And even if you have a lot of money or you have a lot of time or you have a lot of expertise, if you don't have buy-in and you don't have people working with you, next to you, in the trenches with you, the work loses impact or it may not reach everyone you need to reach. So I think the networks and the partnerships, they really work hand in hand because we're looking for transformational change, and that doesn't come from a single point of entry, nor does it have a single set of benefits that come from it.
The Greater New Orleans Foundation started When Waters Rise in 2018 because we felt that it was so important to just share the lessons learned so that we can start working on a national level with other people in philanthropy to better weather the impact of climate change.
I think community foundations are really uniquely suited, being so close to the ground and so deeply embedded in their communities, that when a disaster hits, they're often really like the frontline funder in those spaces. And so as disasters are becoming more frequent, more costly, and more deadly around the country, I think more and more community foundations have gravitated towards what the When Waters Rise program can provide.
Well, for me, the work of When Waters Rise is an example of how philanthropy comes together to learn from one another and to learn from the particular experience of place. It helps provide context for the work that you're doing. So it's not just a theoretical concept when you talk about what does it mean to provide relief.
We've got about 146 foundations in this network. So we received generous support from the Ford Foundation to do a feasibility study, to really call the question, is a peer-led network valuable? What would that learning agenda look like? What would the structure look like? Where would it live?
We want to make sure that we have data and a real case for making sure that this network is needed and how it might be supported over time. We've talked to colleagues from all over the country. We've had sessions in person and online. We have been at meetings of the Funders Network. We have identified learning interests and needs. We have also identified people's desires for networking and coming together to bounce ideas, to have fellowship, to develop ways to support each other, and even learn how to take care of ourselves.
Invest Appalachia is a regional impact investing fund covering the entire Central Appalachian region. So when myself and colleagues from Kentucky attended When Waters Rise, we were excited to meet and learn from other practitioners from the Gulf Coast and other regions about how they've led this work in their own communities. Unfortunately, 3 weeks after the convening, Eastern Kentucky again experienced historic flooding. With our new skills and new friends from When Waters Rise, we were able to put that work into practice.
Equity is a core value of the When Waters Rise initiative. It means that we're ensuring that our resources, our investments are going into the communities that have had the most impact and have the least access to resources. This often means small, grassroots organizations that are on the front lines.
We're the largest nonprofit civil legal aid provider in Southeast Louisiana. Having this national recognition through community foundations across the country who really get it is going to help promote a long-term and sustained recovery plan, but even more importantly, disaster resiliency for everybody in our country. So I'm really excited about that and so glad to see that this is happening.
This is our future. Disasters are inevitable. So how can we come together, marshal our knowledge, our tools, and our resources to make sure that disaster grant making is positioning communities to really thrive, be resilient, and come back better than they were before the disaster hit. We can't wait to get your input and your feedback and to contribute to the thinking about the future of When Waters Rise.